Greetings, rights to thy Cerberus here, and today we are back with some more Choice of the Pirate. We're on Chapter 5, The Ghost Ship. It's been just over a year since you started your career as a captain. Really? I just started. I don't know. It's weird. I don't feel like it's been a year. You've heard rumors that the Pirate King's fleet hasn't been as active this year as in the past. Does he have fewer ships than before? Is the Crown finally making progress against his ships? But for every rumor about the Pirate King's absence, you hear another one about some daring exploit performed by one of the Pirate Kings, Wait. That's some, I don't know how to read that. You hear some rumor about another daring exploit performed by one of the Pirate King's captains. No one will give the names of the captains or their ships, however, and Anne Reed is quick to tell everyone in San Alfonso that rumors of the Pirate King's heroics are only that, rumors. Yet another reason for sailors to throw in their lots with her so that she can become the Pirate King. But those rumors have little effect on your business propositions. You still have only your flagship in your fleet, but that's alright. You don't need the extra expense of supporting another crew and ship repairs now anyway. Plenty of time for that after you've hit a few really wealthy marks. You've amassed 1,244 doubloons. Do you want to spend any of that? I want to buy another ship. That would be pretty cool, but it just says I don't need the extra expense of supporting another crew and ship repairs now anyway. It's true. I don't have the money for that right now. I may be pretty rich, but I can't support 2 ship repairs at once, if I mess up. So I'll wait until I, double what I've got. I indulge in my own pleasure. That's not me. Don't do that. I don't spend my money on I give my crew a bonus. That would be something I do, or save it. That would be another thing I do. Since I'm in charge of my crew, though, and they did so well on my last mission that I remember, because apparently it's been a year, I give them a bonus. Boom! It takes little enough to make your crew happy, and a bit of a bonus here and there gives you a reputation for generosity among your crew. It doesn't always spread far beyond your deck, but a happy crew is a more obedient crew, and it makes your flagship sail more smoothly. Your crew follows orders well enough, though the occasional brawl breaks out. Still, they speak of you well enough in port, and you've had no trouble finding replacements for those who took their contracts elsewhere. Tinema, despite her initial fears about beginning her career as a pirate, has become more confident with each mark you've taken. Her skill is unparalleled, but compliments on her power and control, from you or anyone else, continue to make her uncomfortable. You wonder just what it is that she did to earn her reputation in San Alfonso, but so long as she's putting that power to your benefit, you suppose it really doesn't matter. I'll tease her into telling me, I'll order her to tell me, she can tell me or not, on her own. Yeah, I don't care. I'm interested in her. I like her. She's cool, and she's so powerful. She's way more powerful than any other Cambiant or whatever their names are that I've seen before. I mean, she did some pretty crazy stuff on that mission, raising fog and raising the winds to sneak us in there undetected. It was crazy. And such a long distance as they indulged to tell me. I don't know what I'm saying. I will say she can tell me or not on her own. It's not that you don't care, you're curious, but you don't ask. It's her story to tell, or not, as she chooses. Instead, when the two of you are on deck together, you talk about other things. She grew up in the islands, of course, and the village where she was a child sounds, the way she tells it, like a hidden paradise. It's small enough the Crown has yet to bother with it, she says cheerfully. I only hope it stays that way. Surely the Crown isn't that bad. I hope so too, or even if it does, everything changes sometime. Even if it does, everything changes sometime. Yeah, let's do that one. It's a melancholy thought, and Tinema says as much. You smile wryly. It's true, though. Nothing stays the same for long, even the seas. For all that they stretch on forever, are changeable as the winds. Change isn't always bad, she says. Her fingers dance, and the winds echo the movement. You think about what you've accomplished in the past year. No, you agree. Sometimes change is good. She grins, and it looks like she's thinking along the same lines. After all, there's a lot out there to see. I wouldn't want to miss it. I'll drink to that, you say, and after Caesar takes the helm and Tinema makes her way to the galley, you both do. Well then, what's next? What's my stats with her right now? I'm pretty high level with her. I'm high level with Caesar, mostly. But she's getting up there, she's almost the same level. Caesar has come into his own as a first mate. He's remarkably even-handed with both praise and discipline, and you rely on him to handle most matters with the crew, including hiring new sailors and releasing dead weight from their contracts. He's got an eye for numbers that you never appreciated aboard Blackguard's ship, and you start to wonder how he learned that skill. I try to find out more about his past. I'm more interested in his future plans, or I'm not that interested in Caesar. Caesar's awesome, I totally want to find out more about him. Let's ask about his future plans. What are you saving all that money for, you ask him one day. He looks away, and you think he's embarrassed. What did I do for Caesar's voice? I have no idea. Alright, I'll make up a new one. He seems to be more intelligent than just a plain old pirate, so I'll give him more of an intelligent voice. I won't be at sea forever, he says. Gotta plan ahead. But you know his spending habits, and they're more frugal than such an explanation can cover. No, really, you can tell me. You know vaguely that he worked in cane fields when he was a child, and that somewhere he picked up skills in keeping books, but his dream hits you out of the blue. I'd like to see San Alfonso at the hospital, he says. A real one, with doctors trained in continental medicine, but Kirander has too. Hey, a real one with doctors trained in continental medicine, with not only, is what it should say. The Kiranderas too. La Universidad has some medical training, but not really enough to deal with the needs we have in the islands. Not just sickness, but injuries. He glances out at your ship's doctor, who's working on stitching up a gash in the arm of one of your sailors. Cuts like that are common enough for sailors who aren't careful, but the stitches often end up looking like they're mended sails. I just think we can do better for people. You are a generous man. Just when I think you can't get any kinder. If you need help, let me know. Well, it's your money. If you need help, let me know, dude. I want to do that. That's awesome. He looks surprised. I wouldn't ask that of you. Fact is, he rarely asks for anything more than taking a turn buying drinks at the Lobo Negro. Wait, then you taking a turn. I know, you say. That's why I'm offering. Thank you. He says, someday I may take you up on that. Caesar, you're awesome. On the personal level, your reputation is growing, slowly but surely. One of these days, you know you'll overhear your name in a taberna. But from a story about your deeds. When your name is mentioned, people say you're honorable to a fault, with some wondering how it is you ever became a pirate, and that you're so concerned with causes that you're likely to spend anything you do on your crew, or on those you've chosen to aid. Of course, that's all based on rumor and hearsay, right? No, that's what I do. I'm honorable to a fault, and I'm so concerned with causes that I'm likely to spend anything I do on my crew, or on those I've chosen to aid. Yeah, I totally do that. In your private life, you've focused on your ship and building your own strengths and skills. Though, as captain, you are separate from your crew. You enjoy their company well enough. You also enjoy the sense of solitude during late-night watches, and you feel you've grown as a captain and a sailor from the hours spent devoting yourself to life at sea that others squander on romance. What have you focused on improving since you began your career? I've worked with Caesar to improve my combat skills, I've had Tenema train me in Cambiar, I've developed plots and ploys to deceive my enemies, focused on negotiation, striven to become a better sailor, or tried to be a better captain and improve my crew's morale. What are my skill levels at? Pistols and swords is pretty low. My highest skill right now is sailing, so I don't need to worry about that. Parlay, I think I'm gonna, let's do Cambiar. Let's do my Cambiar stuff with Tenema. You and Tenema have trained daily in the art of Kanema. And Cambiar, what the heck, Kanema? I was combining Cambiar and her name with Tenema showing you nuances of the craft you've never seen before. Oh, I almost threw up. Even Granny O'Malley has gotten in on the action. Mostly she's pointed out your flaws, but she's given some helpful tips as well. You've had another and unexpected aid in securing a few assignments and unloading your booty. Captain Blackguard. He's been more than happy to show you the ropes of being a captain, and whenever there's an opportunity to buy you a drink in port, he's sure to provide more words of sage wisdom. Some of them are nonsense, of course, but you occasionally get a good and generous tip. Nice! So I'm glad I kept Blackguard alive. On one stormy evening toward the end of the hurricane season, after you became a captain, as you're heading back to San Alfonso for repairs and resupply, a voice from the crow's nest calls out that she spotted a ship in distress. Given the season, everyone worries about hurricanes this time of year, and for good reason. You suspect weather is to blame, but the sailor shimmies down from her perch, descending the rigging like a skink on a tree, and heads over to give you and Caesar more details. There's 3 ships, Captain, she explains. One's an aggressor, but there's something about it that's off. Wind's not in its sails the right way. We'd have to get closer to be sure. It's close onto a merchant ship. The merchant's sister, a smaller ship, is fleeing. She grins wickedly. Either merchant looks as though it'd be a good target. Caesar thanks the sailor while you pull out your spyglass. Though it's all distant, you see what she described. A merchant fleeing in your direction and a second larger merchant trying to outrun an odd-looking man of war. Despite the way its sails are luffing, it's making good gains on the merchant. It would take a few hours of sailing to catch up to the merchant being pursued, though it would give you more information on the strange man of war. Alternately, there's a fat prize sailing almost straight for you. I target the easy prize. She'll know something about the other ship as well. I target the larger merchant. Even with the strange man of war, we'll make a fine profit. I aid the sister ship. I just want to find out what's going on. I aid the larger merchant. That strange man of war looks like a bully to me. Or I want to intercept the man of war. I aid the larger merchant. You're not worried about making a profit. You're ready to offer aid to a ship in need, and that merchant's need is clear. With some good sailing, you think you can intercept her course in time to keep the man of war from taking her. Set course for the merchant, you order Caesar. We'll offer what aid we can. Aid and protection we can. I can't talk today. Aye, Captain. Caesar says stoically, then relays your orders to the crew. Caesar, are you not happy with me? You set a course for the merchant and the man of war, and it looks as though all three of you will converge at the same location. With Tinema's help, the winds are speeding you along, but not quickly enough to entirely keep the man of war from reaching the merchant. And from your position, you'll have to encounter the man of war first. As you near, the appearance of the man of war becomes progressively stranger. Its sails are ragged, hanging in tatters, and they don't seem to catch any wind. But that hasn't slowed it down one bit. The hull is smeared with pitch, or painted black, or, you hesitate to say it, there's an unearthly quality to the depth of the blackness clinging to the hull. Almost as though you're staring into a deep chasm, rather than looking at something solid. Ooh. The crew of the man of war look normal enough at first glance, wildly waving cutlasses and pistols in the air, and cheering as they get closer to overtaking the merchant. As you study them, they look gaunt, almost skeletal, and their eyes glow orange. Tinema swears under her breath. It's a ghost ship, she tells you. There's no such thing. I'm on a ghost ship, dude! Obviously there's a such thing! Well then, this requires some additional planning. Ghost ship? Hell's locker no! Or does Granny O'Malley have any ideas about how to handle this? Let's ask Granny O'Malley. She's a ghost, and I got a ghost ship already. Granny O'Malley materializes next to you. The mutiny, she mutters. That ship was bad news when she had a living crew, let alone a dead one. You might be able to stall her, but I doubt you'll get rid of her completely. Tinema looks from the resident ghost to you. What do we try then? Banishment, says O'Malley. I'll help you however I can, but stay clear of that ship's broadside. The process for a banishment is more complicated than any Cambiar you've ever seen firsthand. Much of it has the sort of old-world style that the Crown prefers. Tinema's first move is to draw a chalk circle around the mast of the Sea Queen and step inside to work. You stand next to Tinema, your chanting falling into pattern with hers. You've had a year to work together, and you've learned how to echo and strengthen her patterns. Granny O'Malley enters the circle next to the two of you, and her lilting voice makes music from the chant, strengthening and binding your words into something solid. Tinema reaches for your hand, as your fingers touch, a burst of energy fills you. Almost immediately, it drains away, hurling itself towards the ghost ship. There's nothing like the explosion you expect from the strength of the energy. The man of war doesn't reel, or shriek, or shudder from aft to stern. Instead, it simply begins to fade. The man of war's crew turn to look at you, their orange eyes blazing. They raise their swords in unison, and as they make a shout of defiance, the ghost ship vanishes, leaving you and your crew entirely intact. Tinema sighs. It didn't work, she says. I felt what we were doing and chose to go. Next time, you say. What just happened? In the meantime, it looks like the sister ship has escaped, but that larger merchant vessel is still by. We need to recoup our damages. We'll overtake her and take her booty. I offer to escort her back to San Alfonso. I let the merchant take care of herself. I offer to escort her back to San Alfonso. You get within hailing distance, and Captain Rivera, a burly woman with arms the size of spars, hails you before you can offer assistance, or request a surrender. You've saved us all, she calls over. We owe you our lives, Captain. Did you take damage? Do you need aid? Captain Rivera is happy to sail in your wake, and when you reach port, she asks for your terms. Payment in good, a transfer of ownership of the vessel and its contents, they're all free to go. I offer the captain a chance to join my fleet. Take the vessel, the goods, the captain, and the crew, they work for me now. Or I tell them they're free to go. I offer them a chance to join my fleet. They'll probably say no, but, it offers better than stealing them by force. Rivera smiles broadly. I hoped you might be that kind of pirate, she says. I'd gladly serve under a fleet commander like you, Captain Zoru. Though I hope I don't see that ghost ship again, if you don't mind me saying so. You scared it off, but I don't think that's the last of it. Refitting the merchant into a useful pirate ship will take some time, and Rivera seems just as glad that they'll be seeing some time in dry dock while her ship is armed. You have a feeling she'll make a fine captain in your fleet. Nice! I'm surprised she said yes, although I suppose my kind attitude kind of helped in bringing a merchant along into a pirate crew. The clouds burst open just as you and your crew reach the Lobo Negro. Thunder roars overhead, and your muscles ache in sympathy for what comes next. There is a crying baby. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. You know what, I'm gonna leave these out. I don't need the earbuds. Okay. Where even was I? I don't even remember. I'll pick up where I left off by cutting it. Thunder usually means furling the sails, tying down the captains, battening the hatches, and you and your crew are far from the only sailors seeking shelter in the Tabernacle. The Lobo Negro is always busy, but tonight it's close to standing room only. The entire place is abuzz with the talk of the ghost ship, Mutiny, which has been terrorizing the waters around San Alfonso, looking, some say, for revenge against the Pirate King. Why would they want revenge against the Pirate King? Tinema asks. I shrug. It's just gossip. I grin. The all-powerful Pirate King has to have scarier than average enemies. I muse aloud. Maybe someone's trying to undermine the Pirate King's authority. I shrug. It's just gossip. I mean, if it was going after the Pirate King, why would it be going after a merchant ship? You're not really concerned with gossip about the Pirate King. Sailors talk. It's probably nothing. As Tinema and Caesar ponder the issue, a figure winds its way through the Lobo Negro towards them. It takes a moment to recognize them. Gone is the posh stranger, unfamiliar with the ways of San Alfonso in the place of Joaquin... Ooh, I skipped a period. In the place of the Joaquin de Aviles you once knew as a stronger, wirier man who has done something to earn a wicked scar from his chin to his ear. The eyes, however, are still the same, calculating, observant, and guarded. I meet him halfway. I'm glad to see him. I wait for him to come to me. I clear out. That man's trouble. He's done nothing to upset me. I meet him halfway. I'm glad to see him. You cut through the throng and extend your hand, mostly so he can see you're greeting him without a weapon. He's seen enough of your world now to look for danger among friends. I've been looking for you, he says, by way of introduction. I don't know why I'm suddenly pausing. It's weird. I'm trying to remember voices. Likewise, you answer cautiously, given it's been a year since you last spoke. I have a proposition for you. Looking to hire or be hired? Interestingly, neither, he says, throwing you a rakish grin, and you can tell he's practiced. Someplace quiet, though, with fewer ears. He gestures to Caesar and Tinema. Present company accepted, of course. Do you know El Jardín del Alejandro? Everyone knows the gardens behind the library, mostly for their reputation for peace and rarely for more than their clandestine. Mostly for their reputation for peace and rarely for their more clandestine meetings. Just the idea of meeting there for business feels odd, but they're open enough that you'll be able to tell whether or not you're walking into a trap. It won't be pleasant in weather like this, but there's a small gazebo that would offer cover from the rain. You nod. Next bell, you say. Joaquin gives you a final grin before sauntering away. Nice! I like Joaquin. The rain is let up somewhat by the next bell, but not much, and you and Caesar and Tinema make a mad dash across San Alfonso, trying to avoid a drenching. When you reach El Jardin, you see that Joaquin What? What am I saying? You see Joaquin waiting under the gazebo, a lantern providing a little illumination. Shoot! My microphone is not in the right spot. I apologize in advance. Thank you for coming, Captain Zoru, he says formally. Let's hear about this business transaction, de Aveles, you reply. He begins. Before I came to San Alfonso to find my fortune, I had friends among the Crown Navy. Though that begs for explanation, you get the feeling none would be forthcoming, so you nod for him to go on. Despite my current occupation, I've maintained some contacts among my old friends. So you're a spy? Caesar demands. Oh, it's Caesar, not me. I've maintained contacts, Joaquin repeats. Like the people of San Alfonso, the Crown Navy is quite concerned about the ghost ship disturbing the trade routes of the merchants and colonies they protect. Tinema makes a disparaging sound in her throat. Like most islanders, she has little use for the Crown's concept of colonies. Joaquin ignores both of your companions. Anyone who to rid the Lucayan of this menace would be well thought of by the higher-ups in the Crown Navy, he continues. Like everything involving Joaquin, you have the sense that there's more to the story. Why not offer such an opportunity to your captain? Kind thoughts don't translate to wealth. Is there a reward? What's the Crown really after? Or I've heard enough, I've made my decision. What's the Crown really after? Joaquin spreads his hands in a gesture of placation. I can only tell you what I've heard from my contacts, he says, but... Somehow you expected the but. The Crown is very interested in, he pauses, considering the next word. Removing the Pirate King. What? You want me to do what now? Tinema and Caesar are both absolutely silent. If a known pirate were to eliminate the threat of the ghost ship to prove his worth, that pirate would soon find himself being channeled funding from very obscure investors in order to form a fleet that could even challenge the infamous ruler of the pirates. He shrugs and leans back. Or so it has been suggested to me. Why not offer such an opportunity to your captain, Mr. Joaquin de Aveles? Joaquin shrugs. She's a decent captain, but I don't think she has the skill necessary to take on the ghost ship. He grins, puts that practiced smile again, meant to put enemies or marks off guard. And honestly, I'd rather not have to fight ghostly sailors. You have other questions? Heard enough, I've made my decision. Joaquin nods. I'm very interested in what you have to say. I accept the challenge from the Crown. Wait, I'll prove myself worthy of their patronage. I'll take on the ghost ship, but not for the Crown. I'll have to think it over, or I'm not fool enough to take on that ghost ship. I'll take on the ghost ship, but not for the Crown. You've no interest in working for the Crown, secretly or otherwise, but if the threat of the ghost ship is real to the Crown Navy, then it's real to the Lucayan. If trade becomes too hazardous, the whole Lucayan, not to mention your income, will suffer. Besides, the person who takes down the ghost ship will gain fame beyond anything you've achieved so far. Joaquin just shrugs at your response. If you change your mind, leave me a message here. he says, gesturing to the leg of the gazebo bench on which he's sitting. A quick patterned wrap opens a small compartment, just large enough to hold messages. Well then, that's not suspicious at all. I wish you the best of luck in facing down the ghost ship. He stands, lifting his lantern in a way that makes its hood cast a shadow on his face. You'll need it. Joaquin rises and steps out into the rain. As he walks away, he douses his lantern and disappears into the night. Joaquin, I get the feeling you actually are a spy for the Crown. But, whatever. Your dreams are filled with images of ships smeared with a pitch that spreads across their hulls, of sailors with eyes like coal, of tattered sails fluttering in an unfelt wind. It's a restless sleep. When you wake in the morning, all you want is a quiet breakfast full of all the delicacies you can't get out at sea. Tinema and Caesar both have plans for you, however. I want to talk to you about the ghost ship, Tinema says, catching you as you make your way down the stairs of the Lobo Negro. Caesar at least buys you breakfast. You're not even awake enough to fully understand what it is, but you think there's chorizo in it, before he accosts you. About the ghost ship, Caesar starts. Food first, then talking. I'm interested in Tinema's take as a cambiant. I want to hear Caesar's opinion on fighting the ship. I'd rather leave the ghost ship to another pirate. I like both of their opinions. Dude! Tell me what you're thinking, you say. Caesar looks at Tinema for a moment, and gestures for her to go first. The cambiant takes a deep breath, and then begins. Most ghost ships are created through a curse of some kind or another. They stole an object that was cursed, and they have to put it back. The cursed object was given to them by a cambiant or a spirit, and has to be destroyed. In any case, the ghosts are trapped. They're not the aggressors, but the victims. They seem fairly aggressive to me. I know, she says, but I'm saying it's not by their choice. They want to be set free, and I think that's reason enough to go after the ship. We should end the curse. We'll have a limited amount of time before we're either in too much danger ourselves, or the ship disappears. How does it do that, you ask? She spreads her hands wide, showing that she doesn't have a good explanation. Once I have a chance to do a thorough study of ghost ships, I'll let you know, she says. Do you think anyone's gotten a better look at it than we have, and lived to write their encounter down, you ask? Tinema just smiles, looking like a cat that's been promised a bowl of cream. We don't know until we start doing the research. You think you see Caesar shudder at that, but he's composed by the time you actually catch his eye. Caesar unfolds a paper in his hands and spreads it out in front of you. It's a bounty, he explains. El Sabio is offering a 1,000 doubloon reward to anyone who can stop the ghost ship before it attacks San Alfonso. He and others feel the port is in danger, and not just because of the damage to the trade. 1,000 doubloons is easily the value of 3 ship captures. Has anyone said why the Pirate King isn't stepping in to handle this? Caesar smiles. Everyone believes that the Pirate King is actually the one offering the bounty. He's just doing it through El Sabio to keep up appearances. Which doesn't explain why the infamous pirate isn't taking matters into his own hands. But you suppose there are more important issues. How do you think you ghost ships can be defeated? You ask Caesar. It has to be destroyed, Caesar says firmly. The best I can think of is to fire on it from as far away as we can to avoid getting hit with whatever hellish weapon it uses. I'd like to avoid the crew engaging those dread sailors if we can. Caesar, it's a ship that can disappear, you protest. I don't think we can get in enough damage before it vanishes. Caesar crosses his massive arms in front of his chest. The right kind of ammunition can damage anything, he says, and surprisingly looks to Tinema for support. The cambiant sighs. He's not wrong, she admits. If we were able to do enough damage all at once, it would vanish for a longer time, if it weren't destroyed completely. But I don't think that should be our first choice. You look back and forth between Tinema and Caesar, both of whom think you can defeat the ghost ship. The bounty from El Sabio seals the deal. Let's hunt for ghosts! Someone needs to stop this menace. Might as well be us. If the Pirate King can't take care of his own problems, something worthy should claim the title. The bounty from El Sabio seals the deal. Let's hunt for ghosts. What tactic do you think will work the best? Tinema's right. We'll have to figure out the object behind the curse. Caesar's right. We'll do best at bombarding the ship from afar. We need to outsail them. Tinema's right. Figure out the object behind the curse. Breaking the curse, we might be able to put it into our fleet. If you need to break the curse to destroy the ship, you'd better figure out just what caused the ship. Just what cursed the ship in the first place. Alright, Tinema, you say. Let's see if we can't find some information about the history of the mutiny in the Biblioteca de Alejandro. Caesar sighs, but accompanies you to the library. The three of you pore over books, and surprisingly, it's Caesar who finds the story. About 100 years ago, the mutiny was a ship in the fleet of the Pirate King, presumably a predecessor to the current title holder, though, given the Dread Pirate's reputation, who knows. Her captain was skimming profits from the Pirate King's fleet, so the Pirate King transferred to the mutiny's hold a cursed amphora that he claimed contained a valuable oil for a specific customer. The mutiny was to make the delivery. Instead, the mutiny's captain decided to find another buyer. He broke the wax seal on the amphora and released the curse on his crew. That explains a bit about them seeking revenge on the Pirate King, Tinema offers, and that's what we'll have to destroy. It's probably still in their hold. Because of course, getting into the hold of the ghost ship will be a simple task. You spend a few weeks in San Alfonso, conversing with your business conversing with your business partners, and making sure the Sea Queen is in the best possible condition to go after the mutiny. You also make a point of meeting with your fleet captain and collecting your take of the booty, as well as making sure the ship will be in the waters nearby your attempt on the mutiny, should things go badly. You've no desire to lose the Sea Queen, but if she's sunk, you'll want to have an escape plan in place. The first day you've chosen to head out, the weather is dreadful, and you're leery of setting out after the ghost ship in a storm that could well be the forerunner of a hurricane. As it turns out, your worries blow over with the storm, and the day you get to the Sea Queen back out into open water, the sky is bright, the clouds are wispy, and the wind is fresh. It's a perfect day for sailing. At least in the morning. By mid-afternoon, these clouds have darkened eerily, thickening like the Lobo Negro's day-old chowder. Ugh. You look at Tinema and she nods in acknowledgement. It's not a natural weather change. The mood on the Sea Queen grows tense as you all wait for what feels inevitable. You didn't need to find the mutiny. She's already found you! Ghost ships off the starboard bow! Calls the sailor in your crow's nest. You swing your spyglass around and there she is, the mutiny. Her sails hang in tatters, her hull is black against the darkening waves, and though you can't see her sailors, you can feel their anger directed at you across the waters. Close the bombardment range and stand back. Wait. That was bad reading. Close the bombardment range and stay back. Close the boarding range or use cambiar on the winds to outmaneuver the mutiny. Close the boarding range. We need boarding range, dude. If you're gonna break the curse, you'll have to get aboard their ship, but you'll do what damage you can on the way. Close distance and prepare broadsides, you tell Caesar, and he relays the command. As you sail into range, the waiting is excruciating. Your crew is ready to fire, their hands hovering near their pistols, even though the cannons will fire at much greater distance. And then finally, you are in range. Fire broadside, you say. Fire! Caesar shouts. Some of your cannons hit their marks, and the man-of-war's hull screams in protest. But it's not the amount of damage you'll need to really disable the ship. The gunship's return salvo comes much more quickly than any of you anticipated. Some of the dark pitch that serves as their ammunition falls short, crashing into the water, but enough hits to your hull to pull you listing towards the ghost ship. Then it spreads. Your crew try to keep the gun ports clear, ready to fire again before the ghost ship can do any worse damage. Tinema shouts over the now howling wind. I can feel where the cast item is. We'll have to get to that hold. Now that Tinema has pointed it out, you can feel it as well. It's like an oil coat atop water, or wood that's rotting from the inside out. It's definitely in the hold at the center of the ship. As your crew prepares to fire again, what ammunition do you use? Chain shot into her rigging, case shot into her crew to clear the way for boarding, or heated shot, burn baby burn. We're boarding the ship! We don't want to set it on fire and hurt our own crew! Case shot, clear the way for boarding. You don't know if it'll impact the ghastly sailors as much as it would a crew of true flesh and blood, but it's the best way to get your enemies out of the way for a boarding action. You order the crew to fire, and a staccato burst of uneven fire sounds from your gun ports. The case shot does its job, tearing into the skeletal crew, but only about half of your volley hits. Why? The rest thumps harmlessly against the hull of the ghost ship, which seems to swallow your ammunition into the pitch smeared over its wood. And still, you close, preparing to board. Who do you take with you? Order the crew to prepare to board, ask the crew for volunteers to board. You'll need Tinema skills with Cambiar, we'll board together. I'll board with Granny O'Malley. She shouldn't leave the ghost ship, probably. Our ship, I mean. I'll need Caesar's fighting skills, we'll board together, or I'll board alone. Ask the crew for volunteers. Boarding the mutiny could be a suicide mission. Ordering your crews into the jaws of death without their willingness to fight will only result in their deaths, and probably your failure. Instead, you ask for volunteers. Heroes whose names will go down in history as the warriors who eliminated the threat of the ghost ship from the Lucaean. It's either a rousing speech or your crew is more devoted to you than you realize. You have to turn sailors away, knowing that Caesar will need them to keep the Sea Queen from being boarded. Dude! Looks like my amazing devotion to my crew is paying off. Dude, being nice is great. You select a fighting force from the volunteers, and you put Caesar in charge as you all watch the ghost ship close. But you and your loyal crew are ready to face the ghastly crew and take him down. The ships collide with a screeching of hulls, and the ghastly crew of the man-of-war shoves planks across your ship. You and your crew are too fast for them, however, and can't talk. You and your crew are too fast for them, however, and rather than them boarding you, the crew of the Sea Queen swarms aboard their ship, pushing them back. The skeletal pirates, their eyes burning like coals, come at you, their swords a wall of blades trying to force you back onto your own ship. The ghastly soldiers shout bloody battle cries that have no words, as their swords cut into the flesh of your crew. Around you, your crew members are fighting and dying, but occasionally taking one of them along as well. You plunge ahead into the chaos of battle, relying more on your wit than your battle prowess to keep you uninjured, and even then, it's a near thing. As you press through the onslaught of ghastly sailors, you see the opening to the hold. Though the battle rages around you, you charge toward the one thing that will end this fight once and for all, fighting your way through the foes on your way. You take a long slash to your wrist, but you survive, and you ignore the pain as you continue toward your goal. Whew, this is exciting. You practically slide down the companionway through the mutiny's 3 gun decks, away from the ghastly crew and into the darkness of the hold. Your eyes take only a moment to adjust, but as they do, you see mounds and mounds of treasure, bars of gold, coins from distant lands, textiles, and spices, all in pristine condition. There among it all is an amphora, set aside for the other things, and unlike its set aside from the other things, and unlike its peers, not lashed into place. Instead, it sits on its own, immobile, regardless of the swaying of the ship. You can sense that this is the thing keeping the ship in the curse's clutches. You have to destroy it in order to truly defeat the ghost ship, and end the curse. What do? Dude, you gotta deal with the M4! I get a closer look at the M4, probably. I could shoot it with my pistol, though. There's probably an easier way to get rid of it. It's a curious object, and deceptively simple. There's no patterning on the ceramic, nothing to distinguish it from 1,000 other wine jars in a ship's hold, and yet there's an attraction to it, such that you almost can't stop your arm from reaching out to lift the seal, to smell the perfume contained inside. You stop short of touching the thing and takes a few steps back. You've never felt magic quite like that, and you have a moment of sympathy for the other poor fool on this ghost vessel who couldn't help but lift the seal. Shoot it! Don't get near it again. You raise your pistol and aim carefully, determined to end the curse in one single shot. You could have sworn that the bullet was on target, that your shot would hit and shatter the amphora, but whether the magic surrounding it somehow protected it, or whether you misgauged starts to feel irrelevant. In fact, in a few moments you won't feel much of anything at all. You wander back up the companionway, unconcerned with the condition of the ship and the injuries you've taken. You find your cutlass in your hand, and you start to feel something like hatred burning in your chest. What? And then everything is lost in a flash of cutlasses, the smoke of cannons and screams of death. You see a ship off the bow, and for an instant it seems familiar. Then the feeling passes, and you raise your pistol and fire at its crew. One falls, and you are filled with a sense of satisfaction that comes straight from the deck beneath your toes. As long as you're fighting, you're content. And there is no pain except the ship's, and when the ship is hit, the pain rends your body, leaving nothing but anger, madness, and death. You have no idea how much time has passed when you wake up in a ship's cabin and realize immediately that it's not your own. You drift in and out of consciousness, so it's hard to determine how much time has passed before the cabin door opens, but when it does, there's Anne Reed, looking smug as a rat that's gotten into the ship's rum. She's got her cutlass brandished at you, and you wonder what you did to make her feel the need to carry her sword openly in your presence. Well, are you actually yourself this time, or am I wasting my time? You're not sure what she means. How long have I been out? Including the time you are under the mutiny's curse? Anne asks, raising her eyebrows. Answers start falling into place without her needing to tell you. You get close, so close before the ghost ship took you as one of her own. Never mind, you answer, feeling like you don't really want to know. How's the Sea Queen, you ask. Still sailing, she promises. Took a bit of damage from the mutiny, but nothing a little dry dock won't repair. If you use the funds, which you will once we split the bounty on the mutiny. You blink, not really believing what she said. Not only did she pick up your sorry, cursed carcass, but she's willing to share the bounty and the credit. This is very unlike the Anne Reed whose reputation you know. What's in it for you? What will this cost me? Or don't you worry, this kindness will undermine your reputation? I misspoke. What will this cost me? An alliance, she says. I want you in my fleet. I may not be loyal to much, but I'm loyal to my people. I intend to take down the Pirate King and take his place, Zoru. The time is coming, and I need people like you on my side. Now you owe me, and you're not exactly in a position to turn down this generous offer, to be a part of something grand. She's still holding that cutlass, and at the moment you really don't have the strength to fight your way free. Agreed, you say. She allows you additional time to recover before you return to San Alfonso. Your ship's sailing in tandem with Anne's, and promises that half the bounty will be yours. Man, that sucks! Ugh, I guess I shouldn't have approached it. Anne coaxes you into standing next to her on the deck as you sail into San Alfonso, saying that standing together will help form a positive public image for both of you. You put on a pleasant face and allow yourself to bask in the applause of the San Alfonso locals, who have gathered to watch you arrive. This isn't the way you wanted to return to port, but, it's better than not returning at all. There's an official ceremony for you and Anne, in which El Sabio gives you each not only your share of the bounty, but also a medal. Around you, the crowd seems to be waiting for something, or someone to show up. They leave disappointed. You hear later at the Lobo Negro that there were rumors the Pirate King himself would be in attendance. But if he was there, he was well hidden or disguised. No one picked him out of the crowd. The only real downside to your return is that your injured wrist is refusing to heal. You finally visit a doctor in San Alfonso, rather than having your ship's medic look at it. And you start to hear that the doctor agrees with the medic. There's nothing you can do to save your off hand. After soaking you in as much rum as you can handle, the doctor takes off the hand to prevent what's infection that's already setting in from spreading to your arm, or worse. Oh! By the time you feel coherent again, you've been fitted with a very decorous, very sharp hook. You'll have to be careful in how you use your offhand while you're getting used to this new permanent weapon. Despite what you said to Joaquin de Aveles when you last conversed, you know that you still have the opportunity to work for the crown open to you. What do you decide? I'll pretend to work for the crown and take advantage of their patronage. No! I'm not interested in working for the crown. I'll work for whoever pays me. I'm very conflicted. On one hand, I want to work for the crown, but on the other hand, the crown seems like it's kind of a bad government. Like, it wouldn't fit with my crew. My crew would probably not be happy to work with my crown. Like, Tenema and Caesar. They don't like the sounds of this, dude. Not interested in working for the crown, bruh. You're not about to get entangled in politics. Exactly, politics are a mess. Besides, if the Pirate King ever found out about such an alliance, you can be sure that every pirate in the Lucane would be hunting you. You expected it to move point anyway, as it seemed likely Joaquin was moving on. To your surprise, when you go into the Lobo Negro, Joaquin is still in San Alfonso, nursing a drink at the bar. I'd like to talk business. I offer to buy him a drink. I spend time engaging him in conversation. I spend time with him to wheedle out his secrets, or I ignore him. I offer to buy him a drink. It's the thing colleagues do. You figure you may as well get to know him better. After all, it's possible he doesn't work only for the crown. He might have leads in the future. If you learn more about him, you'll know whether or not to take the jobs he offers. So, over drinks, the night of the ceremony, you talk about your work. I'm having a hard time talking. Plenty of people linger to hear your description of the battle with the mutiny, and eventually you tire of retelling it. You ask Joaquin to accompany you on a walk away from the crowds. He has the bartender refill your mugs, free of charge thanks to your new heroic status. You amble along, and he talks about some of the battles his ship has had with other pirates, after the bounty on his captain's head. You mention a few choice engagements you've had, including one that involved a herd of manatees, a drunk parrot, and a captain with a missing peg leg. He doesn't believe you, but you insist it's true, every word. You almost believe it yourself by the time you've finished. Ugh. All in all, it's a pleasant evening, though you're not sure you know any more about Joaquin's real motives than you did before. Oh, he's probably a spy for the crown, but you'll just wait to see how that all plays out. The sun dawns on another day, and you find you're becoming better known in the pirate community. You may not be one of the most famous pirates on the sea yet, but you're reaching the point where people know your name. What have they started to call you? Honorable Zachariah, Zachariah Benevero, Zachariah Angelico, Zachariah Mega for your skill at Cambiar, Zoru de Viento for the uncanny way the wind fills your sail, Hook, or they don't call me any of these things. Ooh, I get to make my own? Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Zoru, the wizard, bounty hunter, pirate man. Zoru, the honorable wizard, bounty man, hunter thing. Let's do Zoru the Honorable. With a name like that, you're well on your way to fame and infamy. With your growing fame, it's high time you started flying your own flag, don't you think? The standard skull and crossbones will do. A chalice with wands crossed beneath. A red flag with no insignia. A dancing skeleton woman on a blue background, where I don't like any of those flags. Dude, I get to make my own flag? Okay. Ooh. A Zoru's head with a wand on one side and a sword on the other. Do you wear any signature clothing to make you easy to identify? I wear a bright blue tricorn hat. I get a pair of red pants. I buy a fine calico coat. I wear a gold eye patch. I don't like any of these, or don't be ridiculous. I don't like any of these. What do you wear? Ooh. A black suit with red embellishments and a fancy red hat. As well known as you're becoming, it's high time you head onward into another adventure. A Zoru's head with a wand on one side and a sword on the other. A black suit with red embellishments and a fancy red hat. That's awesome. I love that. Okay, so I have Cambiar as my highest skill now. Honorable is my highest reputation. And Caesar Lord is my highest relationship. I've got a pretty high relationship with my crew, too. It's pretty cool. And I've got 9,944. That's awesome. The blues. As well known as you're becoming, it's high time you head onward onto another adventure. Nice. Well, I think that's about it for this episode. We're moving on to Chapter 6, Any Port in the Storm. Oh, it's too bad I got engulfed by the magic of the stupid ghost ship. Oh well. Anyway, this has been a fun episode. I enjoyed myself. I'm now a part of Anne Reid's fleet. But I'm still my own captain, and maybe someday I'll break away from her fleet and become my own. Again. Oh well, this was a really good episode. I had a lot of fun with this. And hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys want to see more of this, go ahead and comment down below and like the video. Because if you let me know you want to see more, then I'll get it to you faster. That's how the world works. That's how I work. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say, so, till next we meet, I'm gonna take a drink.